Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Wednesday, November the 17th. And starting with the daily chart, what I'd like to do today is that I just want to have a look at all the possible not all the possible variations, but I just want to have a look at the bearish side and the bullish side and a few other little things. And one of the things is that it's possible at the moment that wave C of 2 can be in through here. But it is a little bit small, isn't it? You know, when we look at all of this structure here and then look at this as an ABC here, it's a little bit small, and the 50-60% retracement level is down here as well. So what we need to do is we need to understand this particular little ABC that we've got, but we also need to look at a bigger picture as well, so bringing it down. This wave 2 came back to its 61.8%, so perhaps this one can do it as well, but obviously it would have to leave the 65 here. So what does that mean? So I guess one of the things that we could look at that you'd probably connect with is the 60,000 is the closest, largest number at that point. So we could say to ourselves, well, obviously that's a great support, it's a big number. If that becomes the resistance, then it's possible that the market could move down to the next level here. So we need to understand that. If it can come down any lower. We also need to understand, well, if that is the ABC, at what point can we go long here? So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at a bigger ABC to fit into the 61.8%. And then what happens if, you know, there is actually a bigger bearish picture with all of this? So currently we have this as wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then we have wave 1 and wave 2 here. But this is in 3 waves here. So an A and a B and a C wave here is possible. It has taken out the top here, which helps it to be more of a bullish count. However, it's still 3 waves, and because we're dealing with a wave 4 here, it means that we could have an expanded flat correction. So for this wave 4, so I want to talk about that. Let's just go into this chart here. So this is an expanded flat correction for wave 4. So wave 3 over here with an A and a B and a C wave here, then an A and a B and a C for the B wave here, then a larger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So because we've got that top in place, this is actually possible. Then we'd say to ourselves, well, that can't be right because, you know, there's so much interest in Bitcoin and so on and so on. But I never really worry or sort of, I mean, obviously it's hitting sort of mainstream and so on and so on. But at the same time, there's a lot of institutions that would like to get in there. And I don't understand how or if the futures market, the paper money, can push this down at this stage. I know that the futures market is new and Bitcoin's new as well. As this gets more developed and gets more expensive, those futures contracts won't be able to push this market around. But in this early stages, I think that they can, and if big institutions want to get in, you know, they'll be looking at strategies that can push the market around. I don't know, it's not really my, you know, expertise, but I understand from being in the market since 1982, nothing is too high and nothing is too low. So I'm always open to everything, you know, so it's a matter of collecting evidence along the way. And as part of the evidence for the bearish side, this is a valid bearish count. Is it true or not? I don't know, but there it is. We'll put it on the table. You know, I don't see it as a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I've got Bitcoin myself, so obviously I like to see the, the price higher, but also I don't mind if it comes down lower as well, because it just creates an opportunity. Because if it does come down lower, well, then I know that we have a buying opportunity in the market for this. So anyway, I need to present that at this point in time, and that's that. So let's just go back to our current chart here. So now all we need to do is we need to have a look at these two counts. One is that we've got an A and a B and a C wave 2 here. It's rather short. This wave 2 pulled back 61.8%. So it's possible that this one could pull back to this point here. So if that's the case, how does that look? Okay, so in that case, we need to look at it like this. So because it's a wave 2, it means that it needs to be a zigzag pattern. So zigzag is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here for that. And a zigzag pattern for a wave 2 for the A wave will be 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, then the ABC for the B wave, and then 5 waves for the C wave. And that will bring us into the 50,000, will bring us into our 50-60% retracement level area. So we need to be aware of this. Okay, so that's the second step with all of this. So you can begin to see that, you know, if we start calling this the A, the B, and the C in here for this, then whatever long trades we take here, well, we need to be damn careful and damn sure that we're on the right path here. So that's what we're going to look at next. So if you see a drop into new lows here, then you know that, well, we'll be looking at least this at this point. So let's move into the short account for all of this. So in this case, we've got wave 1 up here with an A wave here, then an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave. In Ethereum's count, you can put wave B here. So you may be able to put wave B here for Bitcoin as well. But I have to say, it doesn't matter for Bitcoin because Bitcoin made this high above this high over here. Now Ethereum, it didn't make a new high above this one over here. It's lower. But it doesn't matter, we still need to take Ethereum's count and Bitcoin's count from this point here. That's the main point. So it doesn't, sure, this is all important, but at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter. It would be nice to have it resolved, but I can see that it's a tricky little thing, and it's going to be a conversation really for that. Okay, so that doesn't matter. Now, the other point here is that when we get an ABC, so the market goes up, and then the A wave is normally sharp, and then you get the B wave, and then the C wave is normally lazy. So I've exaggerated a little bit. So is this any lazier than this one here? Well, not by much. It's still got the sort of personality of a third wave coming down rather than a lazy C wave here for that. So it's been hammered. For whatever reasons. So, yeah, as far as it goes, we can count from wave B up here, green B to green C here. We can count 5 waves in this structure here. It moved a little bit quicker than I anticipated it would do yesterday. We had 5 waves down. I was looking for a 50-60% retracement as normal, but it didn't give us that. It just gave us a very small one and then gave us another 5 waves down, which we're going to look at and pull apart as well. So one of the things that we could say here is that if it was going to go down further, obviously these lows would need to be taken out. But at the same time too, if we go back to our other chart just for a moment here, then we could say, because currently we've got that as the low, so from that high to this low here, this is the 38.2% retracement for a wave 4 rally. So we could say that price there is at 61,600. So we could really go 61,500. But anyway, we'll look at that in more detail, or even 62,000. So we could say to ourselves, right, okay, there's 62,000. We know 62 is important because it was the balance line for this whole correction. So we could say to ourselves, well, that's a 40%, 38.2, 40% for wave 4. If the 62 became, you know, in this move here, came up here and found the 62 as support with a classic trading levels pattern. So classic trading levels pattern at 62 would look like this. So if that's 62,000 across here, we would need the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then an ABC correction, then get support on there. In one way or another, we need to find support. There may be a variation of that where it just sits there nicely, but it's that first reference point high that we need to be taken out. Once that's taken out, then we know that we've got a bullish market at that point. We can get a better entry, of course, there. But we need that 62 as the tested support. We could do it at 61,600 and so on and so on, but we can take a closer look at that. But if this market, it has rallied a bit up here, but this move up here appears to be impulsive. So, yeah, but anyway, there you go. So now we know that if we get a tested support on 62, then that would be a safe way to go long at that point. I would also be looking to add on 63 because when we're talking about 60 here, we're talking 60 is the main number, then we're talking 61, 62 and 63. They make up group 1. So normally if we get support on group 1, we go long from that point. But what we can do, if the market moved up here, we know we can go long on 62 as support. And if you're too scared to do that, then put less money in it. Better to be in than the out, just put less in there, and then we build on 63, and then there's going to be vibrations at 65, but when 65 becomes the support, we can add again, and then we can start really pumping it in over this side over here. So there's no need to buy a big whack of it right on the low down here for any particular reason, because it doesn't make any, I mean, obviously the money's in the turn, but it, you know, in terms of handling the initial risk and general exposure on the trade, then we're better off scaling in until we can develop confidence in the market. We're not going to miss anything because we will be, you know, at the beginning of the trend, so to speak. So anyway, I've said my piece on that. Let's cruise in and have a closer look at this. So back to our original count here with wave 1 here, an A wave and a B wave and a C wave. I do like it as a, you know, as a wave 1 here, that's fine. As a wave 2 over here, I have to say that's a very complex big wave 2. This is very typical of wave B being much bigger than wave 1. So the only thing I don't like about this ABC, or two things, is that the wave C is very sharp, so that bothers me and haunts me a little bit, and also the fact that we haven't moved down to our 61.8% here. So that also concerns me as well. So let's go into the tick chart and start to pull this apart on the 100 ticks. Okay, well, this is where the B wave is, so we can count it down here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, and ABC for the fourth and down for the fifth. So that's how that plays out. But I'm going to go from 100 ticks down into 10 ticks. We need to look at this, so I need more data, so we can look at that. Did I have that trend there? Yep. We will just look at this trend because you may have a count that, and this may be helpful. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. Then the fourth, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. An A and a B and a B and a C here. That might be able to play out a little bit differently. So if I've made a mistake, it will be here rather than having this over here. But it doesn't add another wave in the process. And then we've got wave 5 down here. Now from the low here, it is possible to count it up as 5 waves, as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave and fifth wave. So I don't see a problem with that being wave 1. It may be a green wave 1, a bigger one than this. Wave 2 here is a bit daunting because it's a bit big compared to wave 1. But there's a lot of downside momentum coming down here that needs to be soaked up. So I will kind of sort of not allow it, but sort of accept it being a little bit larger for that reason. So then this move here would be wave 1 and 2 in here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 here. So I was thinking this being wave 1 and wave 2 to this point. So in this case, with this particular count, the 60,000 will be the support. So it's kind of okay for it to come down onto this and then move up from that point. And then it's also, if that is wave 1, well then we could just go long above there. So that brings us down into the 61 area through here. You could also look for a little classic trading levels pattern in there as well. So we had one over here where we had the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So we could have gone long above here. We could have dropped it down to the second high here, but the market just kept on going down. So the classic trading levels pattern, you might have said to yourself, well, that didn't work, Pete. Well, then I would just say that, well, it kept you safe. It did its job. So you can use that over there to get a safer situation. So this is where we're at the moment for the bullish count. And then of course, if this gets triggered out here, then we know that we can go long at that point as well on support. So you don't have to shovel it all in here. You could just put half a position in here, because we do need to be careful that we know, well, let's just come back here a little bit. If all this is the third wave, from the wave B down to this bottom here, if that's going to be the third wave down, then if we can just get a bit more accuracy on this. So from that B wave to the low here, then the 38.2% is where exactly? So it's down at 61.5. So it's kind of reached there already, but you know, and if this is wave 1 here and 2 here, and then we have to have 3, 4, 5, well, that's going to leave it pretty high at that point. You know, it's going to leave it way up in the 50-60% area. So yeah, I mean, if we were going to get 5 waves if we could look at this as an A wave here, we're still talking about wave 4 here at 38.2, so we could look at an A wave, a B wave, we could look at that as a C wave, possibly. It's a bit short compared to this one. Normally you'd expect it to go up a bit further. But it hasn't really in its way, you know, it hasn't really sort of pushed up to that, you know, back up to this, above this high here for that thing. But it could be, it could sit there. So there we go. So my suggestion is half a trade here on this one. And then once we get 62, we want to be, how come that's at 62? Oh, that's that. That's right. So 62 we can build in on, and also 63. Getting support on 63 is gold. I should say getting support on 63 is Bitcoin. So yeah, because once we get support here, then we won't be coming back to that point there. So look, this is all very thrilling and exciting. I don't know which one is going to play out. This is my primary one here. I like this. It's all looking quite good. But as always, we just need to be a little bit careful. I mean, it's possible that this little wave 4 here as a wave 3 here and an A and a B and a C for wave 4 is definitely there. But if we go long at that point with a small position, then we should be pushing that wave 4 out of place at that point. So yeah, well, I will leave it at that, and I will make a video if we push down or up, and so on and so on. Ethereum's much the same, if I can just show that. So we can look at wave A over here, wave B here, and then look at this as wave C here. Of course, folks will be looking at this here too as, well, they could probably put the B wave over here for that. Well, I'll just copy it, I think, and I can leave it. Put the B wave over there, and then look at this as down for 1 here, and then an A and a B and a C for wave 2. So that's possible, down for 3, and this is all of wave 4 here. But I think the same rule applies. But this, I don't know. Yeah. So 38.2 is here. That looks impulsive to the upside. That looks corrective. Mind you, that looks a bit, oh no, that will be okay. So in this instance, we could put this down on top of that one there if you wanted to go long. So look, and whichever way you look at it, it's all very high risk at the moment. But this is where we're at, It's a shame that this is not on more of an angle. That would really help me a lot. If I saw that on an angle like this, that would be very helpful, but this has really got third wave possibilities at this point. And if this is wave 1 here, and that is wave 2, well, this will be wave 3, that will be wave 4, and then we'll have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down to here. And then we would have our bounce off the 4,000 as the A, the B and the C wave coming back. And then another 5 down. So we just need to see what's going to happen with all of this, that's all. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. I'll keep you updated.